Hey guys, this is Matt from Tackle.com. Today I'm going to be talking about a swim bait by a company called Decoy. Very, very unique bait. In this category, the small 4.5 to 5 inch size bait, there's not a whole lot of baits that actually have the drawing power that of an 8-inch Huddleston, a 10-inch triple trout, or some of the larger wake baits. This bait definitely gets noticed. About 3/4 of the bait actually stays straight in the water column as you're retrieving it, but that tail is all over the place. You can just barely turn that handle and that tail's going absolutely out of control. Really, really cool bait. The plastic's extremely durable. A lot of times when you get a bait like this right here, the plastic rips super, super easy, or it's either too stiff, almost like saltwater grade type plastic. This one right here blends the two together. It's pretty soft, but at the same time, when you do hook fish on it, it won't rip at the nose, it won't rip at the hook, or the tail won't come off very easy. It's kind of cool. It's something totally different, and I'm having a really, real good time throwing it. Basically, all it is a single jig head up at the top right there. It actually does have a little eyelet down here where you can actually put a trap hook, but with the size of bait, you don't really need it. When they eat this kind of thing, they're going to swallow it if they really, really want it. You're not going to have a problem getting short bit and that kind of stuff. If you do get short bit, throw it out there, you're retrieving that bait in, all of a sudden you get thump thump. A lot of times if you kill that bait, it'll actually fall and then shimmy like a Senko all the way down. Sometimes it can trigger some of those inactive fish. Sometimes it doesn't work like we've all tried in the past. But as a whole, this bait is definitely under the radar, definitely should get known. So hopefully I'll be able to get you guys on a cool bite with it. To throw this kind of bait, it's pretty small. You don't really need anything too crazy. You don't need your Calcutta 400 or your Conquest or whatever. Throw it on like an average size bait casting reel. I really like to throw it with like 30-pound braid to a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. Braid allows me to cast, it stays up in the water column, but that fluorocarbon leader actually gives me, the invisibility factor. Doesn't make this bait, look totally unnatural. As far as a reel goes, you don't gotta, don't go buy a reel just for this bait. You can throw it on a standard bait cast or something you throw a spinner bait on, or Texas rig plastic, or even a jig. In this case, what I'm actually doing is throwing a Daiwa Lexa 300. I really, really like this reel. Good pickup on line, good line capacity, and it's got very, very good drags. And at $199, you can't beat the price. It'll double up for your other swim bait applications. For a rod, with this bait, as you can see, it's nothing more than a giant jig, or even basically a plastic worm or something like that. You don't need anything crazy to throw it. You can go pick up your 7-foot medium heavy rod you got for like a worm or a jig, or your flipping stick or your punching rod, and it'll definitely be able to handle it. What I do want, though, is I want a soft tip. That way I can feel the bite and figure out what my bait's doing, feel the tail kick, feel whatever. But I want a lot of power in the bottom end of the rod. That way I can get that fish out of cover. Pretty standard. In this case, what I'm actually fishing today is a Dobbins Champion Series 795. It really, really works out for a lot of the small swim baits. I have a lot of luck throwing it. But that's pretty much it. On a standard retrieve, all you're going to want to do is chuck that bait out there on your target piece of cover or structure. Pay attention to your variables, your wind direction, your sunlight, weed growth, whatever. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. Put your cast out there and slowly retrieve it. Nothing too fancy. What I found with this bait, if you give it a lot of pops, a lot of twitches and stuff, the bait will kind of want to flail on its side. But that's why I like a good steady retrieve. I'll slow it down, basically just slow roll. All of a sudden I'll pick up the speed, pop, pop, pop with my reel. I try not to do it with the rod. I want to be able to, feel everything. So I'm like reeling it, pop, 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 speed it up, slow it down, and then kind of keep a steady cadence too, and get that tail kick in. What I found is there's two different retrieves that work best for me. Reeling the bait a little bit faster just under the surface, and then actually throwing it out there and getting it down into the color change, right where you can't see that bait anymore. When you do get a bit, wind down and set the hook. What I found with a soft swim bait, they'll either nip at it or whatever, but half the time when you do feel that little tiny bite, that little tiny nip, they often have that in their throat. So a lot of times they'll actually spit it before you even know you're bit. So just throw it out there, you'll feel a thump thump. Don't be afraid to set the hook. Don't be afraid to look like an idiot or whatever, that kind of stuff. Get bit, set the hook, wind in on it. I can't stress that enough. When you do get bit, wind down before you swing. Don't pull it out of their face. Get that hook penetrated. That jig head on the top right there, there's no need to sharpen it. Super sharp right off the bat, out of the package. It allows for very, very positive hookups. A lot of my fish are hooked right in the roof of their mouth to the point where I have to take pliers out of it. Real sharp hook, real strong. After 15 fish or so, that hook has not bent out on me. But as you can see, I mean, they basically eat the paint off this bait. Don't worry about it if the eyes come off. A lot of swim baits, the eyes will actually fall out. In my personal opinion, its profile, its color, and its cadence. The eyes add that little bit of detail, I believe, for those inactive fish. It does look natural, but don't be caught up on all that little tiny stuff. Everything matters, but then it all doesn't matter. Keep it extremely simple. Get out there on a point, fire it on your target stuff, slow retrieve, you get bit, set the hook, reel the fish in. That's swim bait fishing. Sounds a lot, I made it sound a lot easier than it actually is, but swim bait fishing is nothing more than throwing a big crankbait. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Hopefully it showed you a new bait that you may have not even thought about buying, maybe thought it was kind of an odd looking bait. As always, we thank you for your business and look forward to helping you guys become better anglers.